Hello, everyone. Hey, it's week 2 of the Slimmer You for Summer contest, and it's June 22nd. I'm thrilled that for the people who are on the call tonight live, we had a little chat, and there's lots of celebration of after week 1 of being on the program. There's a lot of success, and I just want to also acknowledge the people watching the replay line from the UK. So let's just share some of that success. All right. I want to acknowledge our top 3 success stories this week. Lisa Carpenter, who's on the line. Lisa, 6 pounds. You're down 6 pounds. That's wonderful. Bravo.
Thank
wow. You. Less cravings. That's fantastic. And feeling satisfied. Awesome. Donna Marie in the UK is down 6 pounds. That's fantastic. Way to go, Donna.
Awesome.
And Donna said, she sent me a message. She said she's lost 5 centimeters off her waist and 16 centimeters off of her hips.
Wow.
16.
That's fabulous.
That's incredible. I'm blown away. That's a lot. So that's fantastic. Unless I read that wrong, but I'm sure she said, let me just double check that because that's tremendous amount. That's what you put, 16. Wow, incredible. And Kathy Shaw, our #1 weight loss person this week. Kathy has lost 7 pounds and 7 inches. So way to go, Kathy. Fantastic.
Yay.
And Kathy is so excited about the results that she has decided to join as a USANA distributor today. So she's going to be actively, that's fantastic. So Kathy is going to be actively promoting the USANA products and business opportunity in the UK, and she envisions working with Wendy and running this program in the UK. So I'm thrilled. Yeah, that thrilled. Now, when you first do reset, you're going to rapidly lose some water weight because the products are clean products, low in salt, low glycemic. So you are going to release some of the water that's been protecting you if you've been using excessive salt, or if you've been, let's say, consuming alcohol or coffee. The body holds on to water. So some of that's going to be water weight, but some of it will be actually fat that you are releasing. But after the first week, most people lose around 2 pounds a week, some a little more depending on your activity and some a little less. So just realize, 2 pounds a week consistently is a really good amount. So, but what a great way to kickstart a health program by releasing that much.
Yes.
And Lisa, you were sharing with me that your cravings for licorice are gone.
Completely gone. During this COVID, I was eating licorice every day, and not just 1 or 2 pieces. We're talking like half of the bag every day, and eating potato chips. And since I started this program, I have no cravings whatsoever. None.
Wow. You just kicked those cravings to the curb.
I did.
That's fantastic.
It is.
Slam dunk, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah, it feels so great to get off to a fast start. So that's wonderful.
It really is. Yes.
Yeah. And what a great story to tell your friends now and coworkers. Yes. Mm-hmm. So just a quick review from last week, our morning beverage. I know Lisa's drinking this by the gallons. Lemon, half a squeezed fresh lemon with apple cider vinegar and cayenne pepper, a little shake of that. And it's a great way to kickstart the morning. It helps get your digestive juices going, and it also has probiotics in it. Cayenne pepper helps with your thermal production. So basically your body's going to be a little hotter, burning more calories. So this is a great beverage to have in the morning to get started, or you could sip on it throughout the day. And this one, I went to Santa Vive, Dr. Wentz's Wellness Center in Mexico. This is what we started the morning with. We started it with our lemon, apple cider vinegar, and cayenne pepper. I think there was just lemon water and cayenne. but I like adding the apple cider vinegar as an extra kick. Also avoiding all high glycemic foods. If you are drinking coffee, you know, limit it to about 1 a day. Or what I've been doing is I've been doing half and half caffeine and half non-caffeine. So cut down the caffeine by half. No diet drinks, particularly the ones with aspartame. Drinking your, so a lot of you did reset, which is 3 shakes a day. I know some of you just did 2 shakes a day. That's okay. So continuing on from here on in, I'm recommending if you do want to reduce your weight, to drink 2 shakes a day to basically replace 2 meals. Eat 2 low glycemic snacks per meal. Take your Essentials and your Biomega every day. Walking minimum 3,000 steps. Now I know, Linda, you've been doing 5,000 steps. Some of you may be doing more, but last week's assignment was really 3,000 if you haven't been active, just to get going. I recommend getting a Fitbit if you can, or an Apple Watch or something to count your steps. Journal every day. And we didn't talk much about meditation, but we did talk about Sandy's workout, shoulder workout. And I think the recommendation was at least 2 more throughout the week. Just a little question we had from our UK people. The Essentials here, the label says 2 vitamins and 2 minerals with breakfast, and 2 vitamins and minerals with your supper in the evening, or dinner in the evening, however you call it, your last meal of the evening. Now in the UK, it just recommends 1 of each a day. And that's not the way USANA really recommends it. USANA recommends 2 and 2. That's how the products have been designed. 2 vitamins, 2 minerals in the morning, 2 vitamins and 2 minerals at night. But different countries have different regulations. So in order to get the USANA Essentials in the UK, they have to change the label. So if you just started, I know one of the girls who's joined today, Kathy, started 2 months ago on 1-on-1. So she's taking a 1/4 dose and she still saw results. But now she's actually going to be increasing her dosage to the recommended. Now, did everyone get their journal? It was available in an email to download. Did everyone get and print their journal?
Yes.
I know, Adeline, you've had the journal years ago. Linda, have you seen the journal? Did you get the journal? Yes, she did.
I created an Excel spreadsheet out of that.
Oh, okay. But you did see it, like there's
Yeah.
a lot of
Yes.
information.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, great. Because there's great information in it. It actually talks about how to fill it out. It talks about the glycemic and glycemic load, index and load, and talks about your goals, and we're going to be talking about that today. So it's people who journal and document what they eat lose twice as much as the people who don't. So if you want to be a high achiever, journal. Okay, so we're going to be talking about healthy diet, which is low glycemic. We're going to talk about exercise. Sandy's going to lead us through, I believe, another workout this week. We're going to talk a little bit more about nutritional supplement and other supplements USANA offers, a little bit more about accountability and education, and emotional coaching. Next week, we have a treat. We have Wendy Terry on the line, and she's going to be using her RTT method to help us release some of the emotion around eating. So let's take a quick review of the US Food Pyramid Guide. So this, until Canada changed ours recently, this is how it used to look. So I'm going to ask you, from the knowledge you have, what do you see as the problem with this food pyramid, the way it's recommended in this picture?
Many carbs.
Right.
There's way too much bread servings, bread, cereals, and
That's what got us all into this mess.
It has 6 to 11 servings of bread, cereal, rice, and pasta. And that is the foundation that they have been recommending for years. And those are all high glycemic carbohydrates. So if you see the top, it says fats, oil, sweets, and the bottom, basically they spike your sugar levels in your body the same. So these breads and cereals should have been on top with very limited amount. So yeah, this has been the problem. So let's go to what Dr. Ray Strand recommends. This is his Healthy for Life food pyramid. And if you want to delve deeper into this and learn more about the Healthy for Life program that my Get Healthy program's based on, this is the book by Dr. Ray Strand. It is an absolute wealth of information. I'd recommend going online and ordering the book. So in his book, this is what he's recommending. So you see at the bottom of the base of the, it says modest exercise, 30 to 45 minutes, 5 times a week, with cellular nutrition, with purified water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where can I get this? I'm trying to get rid of this. Oh, so that is, and then there's your fruits and vegetables. Then there's your nuts, eggs, legumes, oils, fish, beans, flaxseed, your chicken, your lean meats. On top of that, do you see where it says whole grain bread, cereal, pasta, or rice, use occasionally? So that's at the top of the pyramid, not the bottom.
Yes.
And it's basically lumped together with sweets and processed foods. Okay, so we've talked about the glycemic index. We're going to talk a little bit about the glycemic load, and then some of the foods that seem contradictory. So glycemic index. So this is really, really important. Now, in the guide, in my journal, I have a couple of websites on page 3 of the journal.
Mm-hmm.
There's glycemicindex.com, low-gi-meals.com, and menadosa.com. Those are reference sites that you could go to learn more or check out foods. Now there's apps you can load on your phone that will tell you the glycemic index as well, and the glycemic load. So the glycemic index is defined as the rate blood sugar would actually rise following the ingestion of a particular food relative to the ingestion of standard food. So we talked about that last time, is how quick the food will digest and release its sugar into your blood. Okay, any questions on glycemic index?
No.
Okay, now glycemic load takes into account the glycemic index as well as the grams of carbohydrates, or you can also think of it as calories. So it takes the glycemic index and considers the amount of grams of carbohydrates and calories, and then we'll calculate the actual load. The load is actually more of a reflection of really how it's going to impact you. So let's just take a look at some common foods here. So these numbers, this glycemic index and load is in your journal on page 4. So it's in the journal, page 4. It explains these terms, but the glycemic index. So anything above 60 is high, moderate is 40 to 60, and low is below 40. So it's not that you can't ever eat high glycemic foods, it's that you want to eat them, you know, only 20% of the time, like modestly, not very often, more as a treat. And you want to, especially during these 28 days, you want to, you know, eat as low glycemic as possible. Now, the glycemic load takes into account the grams of carbs. So you want to recommend eating foods that have a glycemic load of less than 10. Moderate is between 10 and 20, and high is above 20. Okay, so everybody remember those numbers. You may want to take a picture or write this down. Again, this is also on page 163 of the Healthy for Life book. So when this really comes into play is when you're thinking of, okay, can I eat a slice of pizza? Well, if we look at the grams of carbs in one slice, when we look at the index, what this, you know, this takes into account the calories. So a lot of times we can eat some of these type of foods, but on a very modest basis. So maybe one small thin slice of thin crust pizza versus 3 slices. Or we can have, you know, 4 cups of air popcorn and not a big bowl soaking in butter and salt and other toppings. So when we take into consideration the calories, that's when we take into consideration the low, and that's where you can eat, especially during phase 2, some of these other foods on a very modest basis. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Something like glucose, of course, it's high and high. Instant rice, baked potatoes, the glycemic index is high and the load's high. Baked potatoes, index is high, load is high. Cornflakes, the index is high, the load is high. So what that means, because both are high, you don't want to eat them. They're just like not good.
Yeah.
Because they will sabotage your appetite. And Lisa, if you start eating those foods, you're going to get hungry again. You're going to say like, damn, those cravings are back. Where's that bag of licorice?
I don't want that.
No. So especially when you're starting to make these changes for 28 days, let's just be, restrain. Okay. Now, carrots, look at the glycemic index of carrots. Carrots are high. They're above 60. They're high glycemic. But because carrots have so few calories, the glycemic load is low. So my question to all of you is, should you eat carrots or should you not eat carrots? What do you think?
I would, but not as often as the other vegetables.
And that is the right answer. Thank you, Sandy. Eating raw carrots is probably, will have a lower glycemic index, but cooked carrots will digest faster and will have a higher glycemic index. But because the carrots are so low in calories, it's not going to present basically a problem. It's not going to load up your blood sugars. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Rye bread is not much better than white bread. So if you look at the index and the load, they're both high. Bananas, now bananas are moderate in glycemic index and the load is moderate. So with a banana, like a half a banana is a serving, a half a banana. So if you're going to put it in your shake, do a half a banana instead of a whole banana. Now, if somebody says, hey, I want to eat a whole banana, well, I mean, that's not, if that's the only worst thing you ever do, that's fine. But just to realize, and riper the banana, higher the glycemic index and load will be. Apples. Apples glycemic index is low, glycemic load is low. So that's great. Lentils are great. Milk, great. Peanuts, great. Now, interesting thing, almonds or peanuts or walnuts, their glycemic index is low, the load is low because it takes so long to digest. But we also can't forget that they're really high in calories. So if you eat like a cupful of peanuts or a cupful of almonds, because of, even though the glycemic index and load's low, but there's still a lot of calories. So be careful with the amount of nuts you consume. And now look at this. Look at the difference between fresh oranges and orange juice. Look at the impact on the glycemic index and load between the fresh orange and the orange juice. So when you look at those two numbers, it's good to eat fresh oranges. There's lots of fiber in it, and that's why the index is lower and the load's lower, because it takes longer to digest. But look at the juice. Do you feel that drinking orange juice or any juice is a good thing?
No.
Right. And that's because the index is fairly high and the load's fairly high. So your body's going to absorb that juice very quick and it's going to spike your sugars. And look at the difference between fresh apples and apple juice. Like look at the load, that big difference. So or raw peaches and canned peaches, look at the difference in the glycemic index itself and the load. Like, raw peaches are 28 and canned peaches are 58. Like, wow, that's almost double. So what that is telling me and what I'm sharing with you is if you can eat the raw and more natural and less processed, the better. So if you could pick it off the tree and bite it and eat it, that's great. But if it's processed, what's going to happen is the index and load will increase. So think of us when we were cavemen. We picked things and we ate them. We pulled them out of the ground and we washed them and ate them. Man, maybe we didn't even wash them out of the ground, but we ate them. So we want to eat as natural as possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we're talking about here. We want to eat as natural and wholesome and least processed as possible. I did a video. One of my you know, what's cooking in Sheila's kitchen videos that really rated high. I was saying, what's the worst food to eat? And it was a bag, and it says 100% vegetables, but it's so processed. They're like chips. And I was explaining how when I had some of these, oh, it looks like the marketing, it's all vegetables, but it's so highly processed, so high glycemic that I think I ate maybe a cup, which had not that many calories, but my sugars soared and then spiked. And within about half an hour, I just was falling asleep because it screwed around with my blood sugar so badly. So even though something says 100% vegetables or 100% natural, doesn't mean it's 100% great for you. We want to eat as natural and wholesome and least processed. Okay. Now it's summertime. People want to drink alcohol, and hey, I love a good bottle of wine. So what are we supposed to do? So I'd recommend, if possible, not to drink any alcohol for these 28 days. When I did the carb crushing challenge, I gave up all alcohol for 2 months and cream in my coffee, and I lost 8 pounds from just that change. I didn't change anything else I was eating or my normal habits. I was exercising even less because I had a fractured toe and a frozen shoulder. So I wasn't exercising a lot, and yet I lost 8 calories in 2 months. I mean, 8 pounds in 2 months because of cutting out the empty calories. Now, now I've had some people say, well, Sheila, it's summertime, I want to have a few drinks. So as a compromise, I know one of the gals that did really, really well years ago, she said one night was the night that she was going to have her glass of wine. So she said wine Fridays. So she wouldn't drink except for Friday night, and then she would have her glass of wine or whatever you want to drink. And she loved wine, and she did it guilt-free. So that, I'm throwing out there for you to consider. Or if you are going to have a couple drinks, let's say on the weekend, Dr. Libby Weaver says no alcohol Monday to Friday. And if you want to have some alcohol on Saturday or Sunday, do something like a gin and soda or a vodka and soda. So cut out the like soda and with some fresh lemon will cut out a lot of the calories and will keep your the spiking your sugars, keep the calorie count down and cut down the glycemic index.
Yes.
And actually I had one diabetic who said that like hard liquor on its own actually doesn't spike his sugar levels. It actually dropped them. So I'm not quite sure how that worked, because I know alcohol is really mostly sugar. Anyway, so that's my recommendation. If you can cut it out, cut it out. If you don't want to, limit it to maybe 1 day a week and have it at the least amount of calories as possible. Dry red wine has less calories than white wine. So, okay. Again, we want to eat wholesome. We want to make sure it has lots of good nutrition. Because when you spike your sugar levels, it stimulates the release of insulin, which is your fat storage hormone, and suppresses glucagon, which is our fat releasing hormone. And even just doing this once, if you go out one night and have, eat everything you want, you have a whole bunch of high glycemic carbohydrates. The next day, you ever notice you wake up hungry? And you're thinking, well, what the heck is that all about? Because it stimulated this whole insulin production. All right, so we talked about that already. And this isn't about weighing foods. We're not weighing foods. We're not calorie counting. We're just doing some good common sense. And then we will talk about 2 weeks from now, actually portion size. All right. Okay, so low glycemic carbohydrates, 70 to 80% of the time is what you should consume. Medium, 20 to 25, and those high glycemic index food, only 5%. Now, if you are going to indulge, because, hey, I like having an ice cream in summers, but what I do is when I go for a soft ice cream, I actually ask for a baby cone. Because like there's small, medium, or large, but there's actually baby size. Like if you say, hey, I want a baby cone, that is smaller than a small. And most places have very small servings for children, even though they won't list it. So that's what I would say, hey, can I have a baby size ice cream cone? And they'll put a very small scoop. And I find I eat it really slow. I savor it. I do it guilt-free. And that's my treat for the week. Again, we want to eat vegetables in multicolor, we don't want to eat the same thing every day. We want to eat a whole variety, all the different colors, because all the different colors have different antioxidants in them. Fruits, I'd recommend limiting to 2 servings a day on this program. Focus on more vegetables than fruits, but again, 2 fruits a day, and preferably in the mornings. You can burn it off. Now, breakfast cereals. We are in phase 1, which is the weight releasing stage. Phase 2 is the maintaining phase. So during phase 1, which is the next 3 weeks for you, stay away from all processed carbohydrates, so all breakfast cereals. And often breakfast cereals have gluten. I really want all of you to be gluten-free for the next 3 more weeks, because gluten will sabotage a lot of our fat releasing process. Because if you have an allergy, well, I'll be talking about that in a couple more slides, so I'm going to hold off. Phase 2, what should you eat? So let's say you hit your goal weight. Then you could have all bran buds, psyllium, slow cooked oats, oat bran, Red River cereal, fiber 1. So those are all acceptable, and just look at the serving size on the pack. You could add extra fruit for a sweetener, like strawberries or raisins, and just stay away from the brown sugar and maple syrup if you can. Just stay away from the sweet stuff, and you won't be craving it. Breads, phase 1, avoid all sugar, bread, potatoes, rice, and pasta. Of course, you've heard me say that last week. I'll be like a broken record every week talking about this. When you hit your goal weight, you can incorporate, if you want, sprouted wheat breads or sprouted wheat bread tortillas, oat bran bread, heavy mixed grains, pumpernickel. My favorite bread, if I want to have bread, is Silver Hills. You may want to write this down. Silver Hills has a sprouted grain bread. There's sprouted wheat, there's sprouted multigrain, and it's extremely natural. There's no additives, there's no sugar. Some of the sprouted breads have a lot of sugar in them. Some of the oat bran breads have a lot of sugar, so you have to read the label and stay away from the sugar. Okay, so Silver Hills is the recommended. Silver Hills. I get it from Costco.
Okay.
Okay. Some of you may not consider barley. Barley is a great grain. It can be used as a rice substitute. You can use barley to make like rice pudding, but it's barley pudding. And it's okay to have in phase 2, but again, small amounts, like a half a cup is a serving. And in the cookbook, Meals and Minutes cookbook, there's a great barley recipe. It's a phase 2 recipe. It has barley and mushrooms in it, and I absolutely love it. But again, it's a phase 2. Quinoa is gluten-free, which is great, and has a glycemic index of 35. So quinoa is okay to eat during phase 1 and phase 2, and it's high in protein. Like quinoa is a complete food. So if you had to pick one food that you have to live on, and you could live on quinoa because it has proteins and carbs and some fiber. So it is a complete food. And you can use it as a substitute for rice and pasta. But again, half a cup is a serving. So I find a lot of people, when they start eating healthy, they still eat too much of healthy. So just really monitor your serving size. And as a tip, instead of eating from a large dinner plate, eat from a lunch size plate or a dessert plate. And there's something psychologically, like you always want to fill up your plate with food, right? So reduce the size of the plate, and that will help reduce your serving size. If you want to have a breakfast cereal, and I find in winter time, it's really nice to have some like hot porridge in the morning. That reminds me of being at my grandmother's house. Oat grouts or steel cut oats is better than rolled oats. It's low glycemic. It has lots of fiber in it, and if you want to cook it with skim milk instead of water, it has more protein in it. Then it's a little creamier. You could add berries, apple, cinnamon. What I've done in the past is take a crock pot and start it the night before I go to bed, and in the morning you're going to have some fresh porridge waiting for you. You can add walnuts, flax seeds. So these are just some ideas. Okay. Phase 1 and phase 2, you could have chickpeas, beans, lentils, and there's some great lentil salads in the Low Glycemic Meals and Minutes cookbook. And you can use lentils. You could add them to salads and loaves and soups. And salads, lentils are a great source of fiber and vitamin B and protein. Any questions about carbohydrates? What is recommended and not recommended? Glycemic load or glycemic index? Anything that we've covered so far?
No.
Okay, great. Exercise, ideally 10,000 steps a day. So if you've done 3 or 5, increase it to 10. You may have to split it up morning and night, or 30 to 45 minutes of aerobic activity. So it could be bike riding, swimming, rollerblading, or you may go for your morning walk. In the evening, you may go for a bike ride or a swim. So there's a lot of different ways you could, or dancing. I know one gal on my team, she's been dancing the fat off. She's been dancing lots and it's just like being released. It's wonderful to see, and she's having fun. Weight resistant exercises 2 to 3 times, and Sandy's going to talk more about that. Now, strength training is super important. As we age, we lose our muscle mass, and muscle is the engine that burns glucose. Muscle sets your metabolic rate, and after 35, and we're all older than 35 on this call, we start losing muscle mass. So we have to strength train in order to keep that muscle mass and in order to keep our metabolic rate the same as it was when we're younger. If you don't, then our metabolic rate slows down. So if your metabolic rate slows down and your eating stays the same, what happens? You gain weight because you're not burning the calories at rest like you used to.
You turned into a puffer fish.
So, and the only thing the body doesn't want is inactivity. The body's been designed to move. So I applaud all of you who have been walking. That's fantastic. Or you've been doing the short shoulder exercise. It's really super important to have the aerobic exercise first to reverse insulin resistance, and then to add some of this weight bearing strengthening exercises. So strive for a balance: aerobic, strength training, and stretching. Stretching is super important because I can see how my mom and dad walk. They shuffle and they're so worried about their balance is like off. I've seen people who are probably my parents' age who've done yoga their whole life, and they walk gracefully, their stride, their balance, it's good. So it's important to have aerobic exercise, strength training, and throw a little bit of stretching in there too, like yoga. Benefits: helps you lose weight, lowers your blood pressure, you have stronger bones, helps reduce your risk of osteoporosis, you lower your total cholesterol. So any of you who are concerned about your cholesterol, following this program, you will decrease your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, and increase your HDL, which is your good cholesterol. And it also will decrease your triglycerides, which is the other fat in your blood, which is actually the better determiner if you are at risk for heart disease. So there's only good benefits to exercising. It also helps with your coordination, strengthens your immune system. It's important with this whole COVID stuff to keep that immune system strong, and just makes you feel really good.
Mm-hmm.
It helps improve your sensitivity to insulin. Okay, so where is our exercise program? There is Sandy. This is Sandy. This is your cue for week 2.
Okay, and that's week 2. I'm just going to change the overhead extension because my body is so sore. I'm going to beat the bent over tricep extension. So I'll show that.
Okay.
Do it.
So would you like us to follow along?
Yes, everybody stand up.
Okay, this is our 6 to 10 minutes of exercise.
It's tough to find music that's 6 minutes long.
Okay, so Sandy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to go into a different mode here so that I'm going to go into speaker. Okay, so I know Lisa's there. I'm going to mute everyone except Sandy so that she will be the...
Okay, so we're just gonna warm up. We're gonna do 10 body squats. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to do 10 body squats, and we're going to do a lateral leg lift. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, then we're just going to do upper body swings. Sandy's really sore today and a little fumbly. 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can grab our weight. We can keep our legs moving. And we're going to do 10 bicep curls. Grab your weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend over, tricep extensions, keep the back straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm just going to bring the phone down to the floor. We're going to lay on the floor and do a chest press. Flat on your back. Grab your weights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And a chest press. Now, if you're more advanced, you can go on the floor and do your 10. Or, a little bit easier, go down on your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll start with the triceps again.
Hey, the secret to finding promo codes for all your favorite websites is
Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend over, tricep extensions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then down on the floor again. Grab your weights. You can put your knees up, feet flat on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 10 push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take a 15-second rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bent over extensions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Down on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And your last set, 10 push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's it.
That's fantastic, Sandy. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, well,
I'm
the
stumbling
computer's-
around a little bit. I had last 3 days really good workout, so I'm a little bit limpy.
Well, you did great. That was great. Thank you, Sandy, for getting us moving. Great, awesome. So we're just going to continue on. So thank you very much. I'm looking forward to next week's workout.
Great.
All right, I'm just going to go into gallery. I'm going to go to share screen again. All right, so that was fantastic. Now, Sandy, how often do you recommend that we do this workout and our shoulder workout? How do we integrate the two into the workout this week?
Do the shoulder workout twice, because if we're just implementing the 5,000 to 10,000 steps, for now, for this week, do two exercises of biceps, triceps, and chest. So there's 4 workouts this week.
So 2 shoulders like last week's and 2 biceps, triceps, and chest this week. So basically 4 days.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
Great.
It'll be less in the 4th week because we're implementing more muscle category.
Anyone have any questions for Sandy before we move on? All right. Okay.
That was great.
Thanks. So another one of my favorite books is by Suzanne Summers, Sexy Forever, How to Fight Fat After 40. Love it. Shed the toxins, shed the fat. So I'm going to just highlight a couple of the pages. So again, this is one of my favorite books on this topic. It's a great resource. It talks a lot about menopause and what that's all about. And so let's just see some of her words of wisdom. So if you're struggling to release that fat, these may be some other situations that you're dealing with. When your liver works efficiently, it's much easier to lose weight. If your liver is sluggish and bile production is inefficient, instead of breaking down fat and processing it, your liver stores it away, usually in a big spare tire around your middle. Constant stress on the liver interferes with both bile production and detoxification, leading to stress, fatigue, weight gain, and toxic buildup inside your body. This is why it's important for this 28 days to limit the amount of caffeine you're consuming, limit the amount of alcohol you're consuming, and prescription drugs if possible, because all those things load the liver. And USANA has a product that can help support your liver. It's called HEPA Plus. It's designed to support your liver so it converts fats, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals into more usable forms, helps filter toxins from your blood. So it is a great, great product. So it provides your liver some love. So your liver can work better, digest the food, and release the toxins and release the fat easier. So they recommend, I usually take HEPA Plus mostly at night. So before I go to bed, I'll take 1, maybe 2 HEPA Plus. I think they recommend 3 a day. And from the doctors that I've heard from USANA, they recommend more in the evening because your body detoxifies at night. So if you haven't tried HEPA Plus, this may be exactly what you need.
Okay.
And you can always add it to your auto order or place an extra order for it. This product, HEPA Plus, was actually created by Sanoviv. Sanoviv is Dr. Wentz's Wellness Center in Mexico, and this is the product they designed to help their patients detoxify. Okay, another key thing is fiber, 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 fiber. The absorption of toxins from within the body's digestive system is a form of self-poisoning and can lead to serious disease and, again, weight gain. The weight comes from the accumulated toxins that result from not eliminating properly. Nowhere to be stored, but you guessed it, as fat. And the #1 cancer, does anyone know what the #1 cancer in North America is?
Colon.
Colon cancer. One of my good friends died at 33 from colon cancer a month ago, or a month and a half ago now. Yeah, so he was a very dear friend of mine, and he died at 33 because of colon cancer. Not enough fiber in the body. A lot of people who first start on the program often share with me that they only have a bowel movement once every 2 days or once every 3 days. That's a lot of toxins you're carrying around. So often you'll find that when you start on just the essentials alone, people will say they are now regular. They're going at least once a day. And if you're having enough fiber, and you're really supposed to, if you have 3 meals a day, you're supposed to have 3 bowel movements a day. And they're not supposed to be floaters, and they're not supposed to be sinkers. And they should be from about your wrist to your elbow, and they should do like a nice coil in the toilet. So when I first joined USANA, we talked a lot about fiber and a lot about evacuation and elimination from the body. If they're floaters, too much fat. If they're sinkers, not enough fiber. Again, you want like a snaky coil. So what do we have? We have, to help you, we have Fibergy. Now, a lot of people find that when they're using Nutrimeal, they're getting sufficient fiber to have proper bowel movements. But if you're finding that it's not working well, up your water. It's really important to have at least 10 glasses of water a day. And the other thing you may want to do is add more fiber. Less than 10% of North Americans get recommended between 21 and 38 grams of fiber daily. And our Fibergy product that you can buy from USANA contains 12 grams of soluble and insoluble fiber. Soluble fiber is what absorbs the toxins, and insoluble fiber are like that they're like bran flakes, that stuff that kind of scrapes the colon and helps with the cleaning and elimination. So our Fibergy has both types.
All you got to do is add an apple and you're halfway home.
There you go.
With this product here.
Yeah. So yeah, right. So
Apple has 5 grams of fiber.
Ah,
Fiber.
probably why
One
the old saying was an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, it'll help your colon be clean.
That's right.
Our Fiber G is gluten-free, dairy-free, soya-free, and it has inulin. Now, inulin is a prebiotic that promotes healthy stimulation of bifidobacteria in the digestive tract. So basically, it helps with your healthy bacteria to digest food. All right, let's take a look at what else Suzanne Summers has to say. As a result, undigested food in the digestive tract can ferment, causing gas, bloating, and digestive difficulties. So this is something when you are eating, be aware, like in the journal, one of the things I have in the journal is, I basically say, how do you feel? Take note of when you eat something, do you become bloated and gassy right away? Like my daughter Jasmine, her stomach will be perfectly flat. If she has, let's say, she had a chicken burger from the Dairy Bar in Beausejour, loves chicken burgers. Her sister brought her one as a treat. She ate it and her stomach ballooned up. I could swear she looked like she was, 6 months pregnant. Like within 20 minutes, she was like, I was like, what is wrong with your stomach? And it's because she has gluten problems. We're connecting the bloating with the gluten. So I said, you know what, for the next 28 days, Jasmine, do not have any gluten, because when you have like a food allergy or diet problem with digesting, it's going to cause inflammation in the body. And then the body's going to hold on to water to protect you. And it's going to help, and it's going to stop your weight loss, your fat loss. So one of the things, if you do find you have a food intolerance, you can take USANA's digestive enzymes. So this is how I use it. I find, during those big feasting days like Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, I take 3 digestive enzymes with those big meals to help break down the food, because you're combining all sorts of foods. I find taking at least 3 will actually help. Now, what USANA recommends, as we age, we have less digestive enzymes in our digestive system. Taking 1 digestive enzyme with every single meal will help you break down lactose, raw fruits and vegetables, fats, proteins, carbs, and starches. So if you're having any trouble with digestion, USANA's digestive enzyme may be just the right thing for you. And one more, and then we're probably going to wrap up. Probiotics. How can the right bacteria in your gut help? Probiotic supplements help keep a healthy balance of beneficial bacteria in your digestive tract, which is home to more than 500 different species of bacteria. Good bacteria are critical in your body's ability to deflect incoming toxins, aid the body's elimination of them. We need to find as many ways as we can to eliminate toxins. You will see it on your body that you'll be thinner and healthier. And so 80% of your immune system starts in your gut. You encourage you to have a strong immune system by having a healthy gut. So what USANA has, not only digestive enzymes, we also have probiotics. This is why they've included the probiotics in the Reset Kit. Promotes healthy digestion, boosts your immune system, promotes regular bowel movements, reduces cholesterol levels, contains 2 strains of probiotics, which will survive the stomach acid. Like a lot of people say, well, I eat yogurt. Often yogurt will have probiotics in it. It's small quantities that may or may not survive the stomach acid. These 2 strains are proven that they will survive the stomach acid. And I like our probiotics because it's in a little stick pack. A little way, a tip, how I use it, I cut off the top, I open it up, I dump it in my mouth, and I wash it down with water, and I don't waste 1 little bit of probiotics. I don't mix it in my shakes because a lot of it will stick to the sides or be lost. So I want to use every little bit of it, and that's what I do.
Very good point. I'm doing that.
Great. Journaling. Okay, so we've talked quite a bit about journaling. On page 5 has, if you haven't, this week, I want you to work on page 5, which is your goal, your why, and identify the obstacles, and think about possible solutions to get around the obstacles that you might be facing with your health desires, your health goals. Has anyone filled out page 5 yet?
I filled out most of it.
Great. How about you, Linda? No? Okay, so this week, focus on page 5, goal, whys, and obstacles, and we'll discuss it more next week. All right, so just to wind up, continue drinking your lemon, apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper morning breakfast. Avoid all high glycemic foods. 1 coffee, no diet drinks if you're going to have coffee. If you want to continue to lose the fat, 2 smart shakes or Nutri-Meals a day. Eat 2 low glycemic snacks and 1 low glycemic meal. So eat 5 times small quantities spread out about every 3 hours. Take your Cell Essentials and your Biomega. Remember, your Cell Essentials should be 2 vitamins and 2 minerals. So that's basically 4 tablets in the morning and 4 in the evening. No eating after 7. So if you go to bed like at 10 or 11, do not eat 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed, because we're implementing intermittent fasting, at least 12 hours of no eating. Minimum 5,000 steps, and your 2 workouts, your shoulders, and then your biceps, triceps, and chest. All right, and that is it. So any questions on anything? Feel free to unmute yourself.
I have a question.
Sure.
You talk about a cookbook. Is that the cookbook that you are selling with the low glycemic?
Yes. Yes. So this is the cookbook that I have available for you to purchase. Meals in Minutes, $25, fantastic cookbook. I'm coming into Winnipeg. I mean, I could meet you somewhere if you want to buy one. It's my favorite cookbook. It really is a fantastic cookbook.
Okay, good, because I would like to get one.
Sure. We'll coordinate this week.
Okay, wonderful.
Any other questions? I think we must have lost Adeline. No? Well, okay. So I'm just gonna, anyway, thanks for being on the call. We will have our next call is next week, Monday, 7:30. Wendy Terry in the UK is gonna get up in the middle of the night to do some rapid releasing techniques for us to release some of these emotions around eating that aren't serving us. We will continue with another workout, and we will be discussing a little bit more about journaling. So with that, thanks for being on the call. Have a wonderful week, and I'm looking forward to hearing all about your progress in the coming week.
Thank you, ladies.